Okay, welcome to everybody to the open evening today at Smurfit Business School. We are excited to have you here. As you probably know, this is a triple accredited university and highly ranked. And today with me, we have two members of the admission teams that will help me to guide you through the Q&A and the presentation all over. So what I'm going to do, I'll introduce you through an overview of our portfolio of master programs. And essentially, we offer a generalist master programs in the Graduate School of Business and a suite of specialized master programs. And I'll go through each one of them and then I'll take some of your questions at the end if you like. So let's start from the generalist programs. The very first programs is the Master in Management, which provides a strong foundation in the core subjects of management, ranging from accounting, finance, economics, sustainability, in supply chain, human resource marketing. So this is very much a program suited for students who don't have a background in business, and it might be an excellent way for having an overview whether you're coming from science, art, engineering, and the placement of the program is highly important as well. So we tend to place, based on our last survey, after 6 months of graduation, about 80% of the students in significant top companies. There is an online version of this master, and this is together with another program. They're the two unique programs in which we have been experimenting with success in this type of format. It is a version that is particularly suited for people that either have additional career responsibility or professional duties that do not permit them to be on campus, and therefore they prefer to undertake the programs not on campus but online. And the offer in this case provides so much flexibility because you will have the possibility of attending for each module a couple of hours in online, but all the rest of the content in reality are synchronous, and they're all being uploaded upfront and producing a very high quality standard using software and post-production systems here at UCD. So it's a very successful online delivery, and it's particularly effective for people coming from abroad or with specific necessity, and it's offered on 2 years rather than on one single academic year. Let's now get started with the specialized programs, and I'll go step by step, starting with the program in strategic management, which is the one of which I'm also the academic director. This is a program that is suitable for solving problems related to why companies succeed or fail, what they can do in order to sustain their competitive advantage. You can just have examples of those elements from what's happening today with Tesla undercutting prices after disrupting the high end of the market, or DeepSeek challenging ChatGPT despite the lowest investment. So essentially, with this program, students will develop a mindset about strategic management and a number of very powerful and useful frameworks used to understand how companies sustain their competitive advantage. It has a focus on large corporation, but at the same time, it also includes a number of consideration and optional modules in entrepreneurship, and therefore is particularly useful also if you want to found your own startup new venture. Example of topics would include corporate and competitive strategy, technology strategy, negotiation, decision making, resource allocation, which is essentially finance for strategic management. And it's particularly interesting to notice that the program in the summer offer a number of optional pathways for you. You can take a 2-month long company-based project as well as an internship, or decide to do a dissertation in case you're thinking about doing a PhD afterwards, or attending, following additional valuable summer modules. In terms of placement, you would have opportunity at least in two major industries. One is general management with respect to with companies such as P&G, Google, even Microsoft. So from the big tech to the general management companies, large and small corporations, but as also it's particularly useful for working in consultancy, because the programs is a member of the IMCA, which is the Association of Strategic Consultant in Ireland, and because strategy management is essentially what most of the big strategy companies try to do. There is also a good placement in finance companies. So it's a program that offers particularly good prospects in two major categories, management and consultancy, and also finance, with a very high placement, as you can see, 93% after 6 months. Now let's get into the case of the very specialized programs we have, but a very interesting one, the one in consultancy. Now, the situation today is one in which AI is challenging, probably enhancing to a certain respect, many professions, including the business of consultant. And this program is an opportunity for an individual to understand in detail how the consulting process works from the very beginning, the contracting phase, to the scoping assignment and final results. And it will guide the student through the learning of all techniques, tools, and of course also conceptual and theoretical frameworks that real companies, consulting companies utilize in their day-by-day business. For example, just recently I had a guest speakers from KPMG who was introducing and presenting some of the framework doing his presentation to the class, but they were essentially the one they would have studied in our classes. The program, in addition to that, really give an overview of how it is creating a relationship between consultant and clients, because it offers the opportunity of working straight away during the academic year with industry partners, and due to the tight bond of the programs with some important corporation that brings project to the programs and students work on behalf of them during the trimester, you will have an opportunity of practicing and creating also important connection with them. Let's now move to supply chain. Supply chain, and more recently, sustainable supply chain is a big domain of the economy. So you're probably certainly familiar with what is a supply chain on the left-hand side. And today we have important and reasonable concern about sustainability. So what this program does is it provides students with an understanding and ability to manage the flow of product services from procurement, the very initial part of the value chain, to delivery and post services in a more sustainable way. On the slides, you can see a number of topics which are taught during this program, from sustainable procurement, supply chain operation, supply chain management analytics, business analytics, and supply chain projects. So as you can see, is very much focused on the operational side of supply chain, and within the master in supply chain management globally, it is positioned recently as the 19th top masters in this specific area. Similarly to other cases, during the summer, you will have an opportunity of working on 2-3 month long project. In the case of this program, the project will also be related to charitable organizations and other form of companies. And the placement, of course, is expected to be in the supply chain area of many manufacturing, but also service companies. Now let's get to the program of project management. Project management, as you can see on the left-hand part of the slides, is a broad discipline that has evolved over time with consideration regarding agile project management to the methodology used by the Japanese, such as Kanban project management, and Six Sigma, and many other methodologies. Today, of course, with digitalization and AI, the way project management is conducted in companies, especially in service and software, is additionally more efficient and more complex. And these specific programs provide both the foundation for the very first important paradigm of project management, as well as for the additional application with AI. For example, you will learn how organization complete project in times, under the budget, and according to the specificities by studying topics such as management of projects, leading project teams, strategic management of project, the governance of stakeholders, and the decision making in the management of a process. And as I was saying at the beginning, with respect to AI and the novelties today, this is a program in which the same academic director has been an author of 3 books on AI in education, and therefore the use of AI and AI tools in project management is particularly encouraged and you will learn a lot by attending this specific program. Employment, as usually, very high, and it ranges from manufacturing companies to consultancy. There is an online version. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have 2 programs that can be also attended online. This is the second one, is a bit different from the management program, because in the delivery mode of the project management, you will have to attend most of the online lectures, essentially live, rather than in an asynchronous form. So content are not preloaded up front before, and you can look at them remotely when you want, but you will need to be attending classes, usually in the afternoon between 6 to 9, 2 times per week. But still, it offers huge flexibility and gives the possibility of enrolling in the program even if you live outside Ireland or outside Dublin. So it is still very beneficial in terms of flexibility, and it has been a delivery that it has already been conducted for at least three years. So it's very established at this point. There is also an international business program that we offer, and that program is very much concerned with all possible consideration of cross-border globalizations, expansions. The setting in which we are today is particularly challenging and significant, and really require, as you can see, and know from what's happening in terms of global tariffs and geopolitical instability, and therefore having an opportunity of studying and understanding the transformation in the global context, and what are the frameworks and model in order to succeed as a multinational within a global team, in a cross-border collaboration or in an expansion. This is highly relevant, especially if you intend to be working in an international context and given the challenges that there are today. There is also, with respect to this program, I wanted to align that there is an opportunity of doing the second trimester overseas in a French university. And this is also an additional plus for the program. Strong placement as for most of the other programs, essentially, and also during the summary of the opportunity of participating to an international business consultancy project. And this is a project shared with strategic management students, in which, again, as I said before, the student will work with a company for 2-3 months with an internal supervisor, which is an academic, and then management from the company. Or you can do an internship. The internships are always searched by the students. They're probably not provided by the university, although there is some support. Or you can follow additional optional modules. So the difference with respect to strategic management in this case is that there is no opportunity of doing a dissertation in case you're interested in doing a PhD. The university also offer a quite exclusive version of global international business, because it's part of a membership of an alliance that is called SAMS. SAMS is an alliance of 33 top universities. We are one of them, and in these programs, essentially, we offer an overview of global strategy, global management, and business for people who tend to have at least 2 languages, the understanding and fluency in 2 languages, plus the willingness of learn a 3rd language, and they're very motivated candidates. So there is a selection, specific selection for this specific program, and prospect, employability, and the network is an extremely strong one. Topics would include global strategy, international business, cross-cultural management, financial management, and many more optionals. There is also a very interesting and established master that we offer in conjunction with the School of Agriculture. Just let's think about what's happening in the agricultural business, in the food industry in the recent years. So our program that address that type of challenges is the Master in Food Business, as I mentioned, conducted together with the School of Agriculture and Food Science. And it is particularly useful for people who want to pursue a career in the food industry, either because they have a prior background in that specific area, or because they have a passion about agriculture, science, and related food-related topics and domains. Is an important one, both from Ireland and from all over the world, given the importance of the food industry and the transformation this industry is undergoing today. And with that, I'd like to conclude for the moment and open the floor to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alessio. We're just looking here, Sinead, just on questions. I suppose one of the questions that has come up is obviously just around scholarships, Alessio. So our scholarships will be open next week, and there are a lot of scholarships that you don't have to apply for. But one of the scholarships you do have to apply to, which is open in January time, which will be the Aspire Scholarship, and that's specifically for domestic students. So I just suppose that that's one of the questions that came up. Also, another question that came up was around, can you apply before you have your transcripts ready? Alessio. So yes, you can apply if you're still don't have your transcripts. You can get an offer and be received, accept that offer, a conditional offer, and then forward us your transcripts come June or July once you get those transcripts. So I think they're both questions. Sinead, just wondering if you'd seen any questions there?
No, I just wanted to mention, I've mentioned in the chat there about the Global Leadership Programme, which is quite a unique programme to Smurfit that is available to all students in all courses. And it's a great opportunity to look beyond your own class and to network amongst your peers within the other classes. as well as having the opportunity to get mentors and mentoring opportunities with large companies. A lot of those people would be alumni from our prestigious college here in Smurfit, as well as guidance in terms of career. When you do come to study in Smurfit, we look at what your plan is for the next 3 to 5 years and ensure that that's a realistic plan, and to see if we can work with you to ensure that you meet your objectives within that. And we have a whole careers team. For anyone there who is coming from an international background, coming to Ireland can be a challenging one for anybody travelling abroad. So we have a school liaisons officer also located here in the college, who specifically looks after the requirements and helps students who are coming from an international background to settle into not only our college but into Ireland as a whole, where Dublin is a beautiful place. It's a very safe environment. We're very fortunate to be located in one of the best locations in the city. It's one of the safest places near the sea, and our campus is a fantastic one from that perspective. Not only do you enjoy the benefits of being in Smurfit Graduate Business School, and we also are very close to the main school, where we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, lots of sports opportunities, club memberships, and so when you come to work in Ireland, you work with that's my dog. You can study. You have that opportunity to enjoy the benefits of a very large university as well, the top university in Ireland. So we'd be delighted if you have any questions. I've put in the email address there for our admissions team. We have a great team here that can help you with any queries that you might have. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you study with us here in Smurfit. Thank you.
I'm going to jump in, if I may, just given that we've a couple of minutes left. And Alessio, thank you so much for taking us through our broad suite of management programs. My name is Kathy Timlin. I'm marketing manager for the Smurfit School. I suppose, Alessio, it's a good opportunity, given that you are the academic director for the MSc in Strategic Management, which is one of our prestigious management programs. But if you were to, I suppose, give an elevator pitch on your own particular program and the unique selling points that it would offer to potential prospective students.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would probably say that it's a program that works particularly well for people who want to understand and work in innovation and technology-driven companies. Because we have been revising the program recently, and because most of the technology that are affecting society today are essentially requiring a revisitation of the entire strategy, a big readaptation, a big transformation of the company. And that is essentially what strategy is all about. And I myself am one of the scholars in technology strategy, so very much at the intersection between the two, and other colleagues together in the program works in related areas. So we have been placing good students in important companies such as Google, or being offered jobs by consulting companies in the area of innovation management. So I suppose that if you have that type of passion and you're willing to work hard, this is a program that at the moment works particularly well for those interested in innovation management, because this is increasingly more what strategy means today.
Also, Alessio, I know very recently you shared with me about one of your alumni coming in as well and engaging with your class. And I think it's important to I suppose, emphasize that there is a lot of corporate engagement. If you wouldn't mind maybe speaking to that also.
Well, we've had a manager from actually the head of sales of LinkedIn coming to our class, and he was a part-time student attending our program just 3 years ago. So this probably also give an evidence of what type of part-time students we tend to attract. This year we have another person from LinkedIn, which has been working. She's a female, worked for several years in this company and in other companies. So we normally have people from the industry coming and attending as part-time students, and when it is the case of junior students coming from the bachelor, they equally do well in the job market. And recently, again, in this academic year, we have had another guest speaker from KPMG, and that person was a full-time student from 2 years ago, if I remember
Mm.
well.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
and
you will find a lot of people coming to class. Quite often, our alumni from working at the moment in big corporation, either because they were fresh and they found a good opportunity, or because they came from big corporation and they remain linked to the program and want to give back. But essentially, it's a very good network, and the alumni community for this program is very well established, because probably the program has been run for about 30 years, if not more, in a different version, of course.
yeah, very good. Great. And I guess it's worth mentioning as well, our careers network, which is obviously available to all of our students. We have a team here who work with our students from September in terms of preparing them for the workplace via various workshops, and also hosting careers fairs, bringing employers to campus, various talks. So they are heavily engaged with our students in trying to help them secure employment post-graduation. And we had some students on a session earlier speaking about that they're currently applying and going through processes of application with potential employers. So that's something we're very engaged into. Elaine or Sinead, do you want to maybe, before we finish up, mention anything about applying? There's no open questions there that I can see, but just in terms, I suppose, the application process and demands.
Yeah, Kathy, one of the questions that sometimes comes up, and Alessio, I guess you could also help with this one, was, students often ask, do I need an undergrad in business to do these management programs? So I just wanted to suppose to get your view on, is that the case that, or
Yeah.
for example, one question came up there is, do I need a STEM undergrad to do the supply chain, really? So they're the sort of questions I was wondering if you'd like to answer.
Yeah. So the no-brainer answer is, with respect to the general management program in management, master in management, you don't need an undergrad in business. For the other specialized program, there is maybe a preference for sure. It would be ideal, although we tend to have students from engineering and other disciplines, and very often the lack of business of a business degree might be compensated by an evidence of having been working maybe for a couple of years in a company. So my suggestion is probably try to submit your application to the admission team, making a case, showing that maybe you have evidence of additional experience in business, if that is the case, and see how it goes. Some programs have more flexibility than others, but in principle, there is not a strict requirement. Then, of course, the admission team will select depending on various criteria that they utilize, and the strict criteria we use as Smurfit. But usually, it's good to put together the application and make your case. So there are chances also for non-business students, especially if there is some evidence of business-related experience.
Great, thank you, Alessio. And I suppose obviously that would also apply to both of the online programs, so the online in project management or the online in management. With the online Masters in Management, we prefer, if you don't have that much of a business undergrad, we'd prefer if you were coming from a non-business, really, for the Masters in Management. But the project management, you can come from any discipline at all, business or otherwise. Yeah, and I suppose then also, Alessio, I guess the careers in management, it's very broad. I mean, the success rate is on the website, and you can see that students do get. So I guess it does offer that ability to go across industries or to go across companies. Would you like to comment on that, maybe? Just.
Oh yeah. That's the Master in Management is definitely a flagship for the school, and from the perspective of the students, is a very safe investment, because you will not restrict yourself upfront at the beginning on another specialization that you might not probably like to stay with for the rest of your life. And at the same time, you open yourself to so many business opportunities. It's a very established program as well. So I'd say that it's a big class, one of the biggest class, precisely because many people see the opportunity of attending a general master program and having an understanding of all possible functions in a company so that you have more options. So it's a very valuable option to consider. Many people from companies essentially tend to also consider the master in management, maybe if they were working in the operation or in other areas in which they did not have any management role, and it's a particularly useful way to increase your chances also of moving in the management part of a company.